So this is a really quick little video. It's only going to be like 6 minutes long, and it's primarily about these pilot parallel pens that I have that you saw a picture of at the start there. Now these normally have a flat chisel end, but while I was one weekend, I got a little grinding wheel, and I basically carved off a corner of them, so you can see they're like hockey ship. That's hockey what? Hockey stick shaped. That's could be the other way around, and they're great fun to sketch with. You get a real interesting variable line width. So what I did was a really quick sketch of a VW Beetle in a very rough pad. I mean, this is just cartridge paper, and it was really just to get an idea of how they performed. Really, a lot of people have made this modification to these pens, and it works really well. They are super cheap. They're like 10, $12 or something to buy. They're not expensive at all. And if you have, so you could even use some sandpaper or something like that. I mean, obviously, I used a grinding wheel or a Dremel or anything that you could just use to, to shape that nib. So obviously, if you use some very, very rough paper, you would get some quite interesting broken lines. This is relatively smooth cartridge paper, but what I'm just trying to do here is block in some of these sort of shadow areas, which obviously you can do super quick with that big nib. Now VW Beetles are such beautiful cars to sketch because they are really big, organic shaped beasts. And they really do look like beetles. So the pilot parallel calligraphy pens I think is how they're called. You can actually buy them in a set. I'll put a link in the description below. And the orangey yellow one that I'm using here is a 2.4 wide. There is 4 line width variations. There's 1.5, 2.4, 3.8, and the blue one that you saw at the top of is 6mm wide. Now, most of this drawing is being done with this 2.4 one, and I would say, it's pretty much good for everything. As you can see here, you get quite thin lines, and obviously if you use it the other way, you get these great big wide ones. I have actually done the same modification on the blue one, which is the 6mm one, so I mean that should be a beast, but I haven't quite got it working yet. I'm not 100% sure whether I need to just pull it apart and clean it. These pens are dead easy to pull apart. You literally just pull the nib straight out. You can soak it, you can splay the nib and clean out any bits in between. The nibs are really clever. They've got basically some hollow tubes, hollow sections that sort of run down the centre of the nib, as well as being pressed together as just 2 plates. So here I'm just playing with some of these Octopus inks. Again, I can put a link in the description for those as well. And they are just a little set that I got a while ago for review. They're great fun. I've nearly ran out of them now. Just send me some more, please. And yeah, they're really good. They're really interesting colours. And then what I'm doing here for this car is I'm leaving some white highlights, and then I'm going to do some mid-tones in some slightly diluted orange, and then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to use the full orange to do like the lower lights on the bodywork. So the idea of this bodywork, I'm not 100% sure how successful it was, but the idea of this bodywork is it is actually a high gloss. It's not supposed to look like rust or anything. It's actually it's like a really shiny car. My old boss, who he was an automotive designer, he was a master at this, and he'd always one of his things he'd do is he'd put a buzzard in the reflection on the bodywork, and you can see I've just put it in there, and that's a real nod to my old boss Ray and his yeah. So again, I'm starting to put in some more of that shadow reflection, if you know what I mean. So The reflections lower down are the ground, as you'd see it. The reflections higher up would be the sky. If you imagine that the car itself was made of a mirror, imagine what it would reflect. Here for the tyres, I'm using some water-soluble pencil. These are relatively new to me, so I've been having a bit of a play with them. I'm not really sure about them. So as you can see, I'm trying here to actually create some highlights. It looks a bit weird in that perspective. I put my phone in a cup here. It's an excellent bit of fill work. It's like award-winning. Do you know, I think one of the problems with this really is this paper. It's just cartridge paper. It's real cheap stuff. So you're never going to get great results anyway. I mean, the ink sits well on it, doesn't it? So there we go. So I can see there's some more award-winning camera work coming up here. Look at this. It's stunning. So yeah, two different coloured inks. It's fine, and that pen worked really well, I think. It's definitely a fun one to have in the collection. I don't know what's going on here. I think I might be drunk. At least I feel drunk watching this. There you go. So I hope you found that of use. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks for stopping by. And I might do some more videos on these pens. We'll see. See if anyone's interested. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.